It's an intuitive synthesizer. Most stuff is a click away or a shift click away. The manual is also very well written. Hybrid synthesizers have always been my favorite sound-wise. The Prophet VS, the Ensoniq SQ80 or ESQ1, some of the most versatile synthesizers. Arturia also do great recreations of those two, which are available in their V collection. Some of the immediate pros that I wanted to go over are the arpeggiator and the sequencer. The macros assigned to what Arturia calls the touch strips are fantastic, and assigning stuff to them is relatively easy, as with a lot of their products, both software and hardware. There is 31 digital oscillator types and counting. Few of the cons I've discovered so far. First of all, it's likely my awful keyboard playing, but I've knocked the arpeggiator a few times while playing and turned it on/off, or the sequencer. Again, that's likely a me problem, but it'd be interesting to see if anyone else has or does do that regularly. As I do intend to talk about in a future video, you can't currently import wavetables or samples into the Minifreak. I believe that you can on the Microfreak. The included wavetables and samples are fantastic, but there isn't that many actually. The keys are, of course, mini keys. I had the DX refaced by Yamaha for a while. I personally loved those keys. I also use that as my MIDI keyboard. While it is intuitive and feature-packed, it does kind of leave you somewhat feeling feature paralysis almost. Again, this might just be me, but I personally would have loved to see 2 ADSR filters, not an ADSR filter, and a cycling envelope. The cycling envelope definitely does have some really nice expressive uses when combined with the modulation matrix, but I really like building especially bass sounds, pluck sounds, and key sounds with 2 ADSR, one for amplitude and one for the filter. Okay, now at the Minifreak, we have preset 24, Serenity. It's a lovely pad sound. Start messing with those macros. This one, macro 1, will affect the wave control up here, the timbre control, and the shape control all at the same time. Macro 2 is going to control the coarse tuning, as well as some of Oscillator 2's controls. A really jarring effect. Now if we search for a bass sound, I really like the EBM sound here, which is a sequenced bass sound. See, here with Macro 2, we're affecting the shape, the timbre, and the amount of LFO of the shape. It's really nice for changing the tonal characteristic quite dramatically, really. Kind of industrial techno, skinny puppy industrial kind of vibe. If we come over to another one of my favorite presets so far, it's called Free Steps. It's preset 64. It's another nice pad sound. Kind of exploring more of the weird characteristics of the Minifreak. Kind of like a gated, shifting, evolving pad. And of course the macros. Bringing in delay with macro 1. And vibrato with macro 2. When you are preset surfing on the machine, it's absolutely always essential to mess around with the macros. There are certain presets, such as this one, that will only have 1 or 2, or just 1 assigned. But as I've showed you with some of the other presets, you can add up to 4. Another sound I really like that highlights how effective the Minifreak is in creating those kinds of bread and butter synthesizer sounds is this really nice 80s, late 70s, 80s string sound called Super. It's preset 57. See here, macro 2 is controlling wave 1 and 2 of both the oscillators and timbre 1 and 2 of both the oscillators. And you just see how much the sound changes. Being able to assign lots of different features to the macros really does help with that. Beautiful. Now, if we hold down the preset button, it's going to take us to an init setting, which is just going to be the basic waves sound. So we can start to mess around with our ADSR envelope. And what I'm going to highlight here is just how easy it is to throw together a preset that sounds pretty good. I'm going to mess with the Analogue filter. We can turn the resonance down just a little bit. If we bring in the second oscillator, one thing I really like to do is let's click the tune button and then let's just offset the fine tuning of let's just offset the fine tuning of oscillator 2. We get that really lovely wide 80s sound. And we can bring in the chorus. Really nice effect on this unit. Let's bring the resonance back up again. If we extend the sustain and the release, get those nice sweeps. And this is literally just messing with the two most basic, ironically, basic wave oscillator settings. There's 31 oscillators altogether that I do plan to explore in future videos. We can add some delay. Now if we hold shift and change the type on delay, it's going to bring us through different presets. So we can set sync. And now if we let go of shift, When we mess with the time control, it'll take us through subdivisions rather than milliseconds. We might change oscillator 1's type to super wave. This is not too different to basic waves, but it's very exaggerated. You've got controls for the wave type, square, saw, triangle, and sine wave, of course. Got a nice detune control, get that really, really thick, almost beating effect. Hopefully that just showcases how intuitive of a synthesizer it is. I feel like most of the really important controls you would need in sound design are either directly assigned to one of these knobs or just a shift click away. If we come over to here, the matrix mod, the matrix modulation side of things is also very easy. We can come down to LFO1 and we can have LFO1 control. Let's have it control the detune of Superwave, which is oscillator 1. So we click down, we can just bring this up. Obviously very exaggerated to start, not so usable. So if we bring this down, we can bring the rate right down. Always make sure you click once you've set how much of the LFO you would like. And again, if we press shift and change the rate / trigger button in LFO, I'm going to change that from poly retrig to free. I always like free running LFOs. There's something very natural sounding about it. Now, of course, we can set up custom assignments within the mod matrix as well. So if we come over, we're still using LFO1. If we hold down the assignment button here, and let's just turn the time of the delay here. We can click, and again, let's go all the way up and be dramatic with it. And like a lot of the Minifreak, you will get a somewhat ridiculous sound. That's going to be it for today. Thanks for joining me in a very quick exploration of the Arturia Minifreak. If you've got this synthesizer and you've got any hot tips that you absolutely think I should be checking out, please leave them below. Let me know what you think of the Arturia Minifreak. Thank you.